Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome to Lee Homestead. So, the other day I had a baby chick escape, which means it's time to put him in the intermediate brooder. So let's check out how to build it. So here's the beginning of it. I took a tarp and took this dog playpen, and I wrapped the tarp around the sides and secured it with zip ties. So it doesn't necessarily have to be pretty. All it has to do is work. So I'm going to fill the bottom with shavings and put their stuff in it and move them over. So the reason I'm moving over is I had a baby chick escape. It flew out of the cage, so I ended up having to catch it and put it back. And then I put a cage on top of it, so I don't move them out of their baby brooder until they are 4 weeks old, because at that point, you just have to keep the temperature at or above 75 degrees because they're starting to grow their feathers. And once they fully feather out at 6 weeks, to 8 weeks, you can put them out in the coop. So once you put them out in the coop, they can scratch around with the other chickens, and I'm excited to get to that point with these as well. But they're growing like weeds. They survived coccidiosis, and they're doing fantastic now. So I'm excited to get them out of their baby brooder so they have a lot more room to scratch around and to run around and fly around like chickens like to do. So coming back to the brooder, I went ahead and put pine shavings in the bottom. I like to put the pine shavings fairly deep, as you can see, so they're able to scratch around. They'll move it around, and the more they flap and scratch around, they'll compact it down to where it won't be as deep as what it looks like now. But I'm fairly pleased about putting them in a space that's a lot bigger, so they have a lot more room to run and scratch around. So when setting up the brooder, the biggest safety thing is securing your lamp. I put it in a way that it won't heat up the tarp and burn it, and I secured it with 2 zip ties to where it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to fall in the brooder and burn the chicks. It's not going to start a fire. So that is the big thing. You don't want to catch your brooder on fire. Not only will it kill all your chickens, but it'll probably burn down your house or building. So that's definitely not a good thing. So a lot of people might ask, why go through the trouble of a starter brooder than an intermediate brooder? So the reason that I do it is because baby chicks, when they first come either in the mail or you pick them up from the store, they're smaller. They're just wanting to eat, sleep, and poop. So I make it easier for them to get to their food and water. And then as they grow, they need a bigger space to run and roam around. So you definitely want to put them in that intermediate brooder prior to putting them in the coop because they need a lot more space. They're going to run, they're going to fly. And if you don't move them out to a building or a basement or something, they're going to create a whole bunch of dust in your house. And really, it's kind of nasty. So we chose to put them in the outbuilding this time because the very first time we got it, we didn't realize how much dust they were going to create. And so we had them in a part of our house, and it just created way too much dust that we wanted to clean, and it was really nasty. So I learned from my mistakes. I'm using a tarp because I can easily take down the brooder, put the shavings in my compost pile, and it's a whole lot easier to clean up. So that's why I use a starter brooder and an intermediate brooder. Mostly, plain and simply, it's easier for the chicks, and it's better for them in the long run. So the next step is starting to get the food and water. I haven't got the water set up yet because I got to find a piece of wood to put it on where they won't get a bunch of shavings in it. But I'm also taking the temperature to see if I need to add a second lamp for this large space. So here in a few minutes, we'll check the temperature and see if I need to add another lamp. So I went ahead and put in the second brooder light, and as you can see, it's done a lot better. Food and water, a bigger food and water bowl, that's a big improvement because as they get bigger, they're gonna eat and drink a whole lot more. So let's put them into the brooder. Hey, let's get you out of that nasty brooder, huh? Oh, it's okay. And as you can see, they're starting to lose their down and get their pin feathers. So that's exciting. Oh, there you go. So I went ahead and saved you guys the motion sickness. As you can see, they've already found their food and water. They are loving the large space. So now we got to cover it so they don't escape like they did in the small brooder. But yeah, they're liking this a lot more. So I went ahead and covered it with some netting that I had, some chicken wire, and this over here is some green rabbit fence so I can lift it up and change the food and water regularly. But yeah, as you can tell, they are enjoying this space so much better. So I'm happy that they're able to run around and do what chickens do. They're a lot happier. And I won't have to clean this one as often. So they are loving it. And you can tell the temperature's right because they're just walking around and scratching and enjoying. They're not huddled in a corner or running over to this side to try to escape the heat. They're just running around and doing what baby chicks do. So that's awesome. So that's how we transition our baby chicks from the starter brooder to the intermediate brooder. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.